Hey guys, Mr. Happy here and welcome to Final Fantasy Bestiary. This series is dedicated towards discovering the history and lore behind Final Fantasy's most iconic creatures and characters. This episode, we take a look at the hulking monsters, Goobbues. Goobbues are actually creatures we see very little of in the Final Fantasy series, and as such this episode won't be very long. When we do see them, they are hulking green beasts covered in small saplings and moss. They have short legs but are still able to run at moderate speeds, if given the momentum. This, coupled with their long and powerful arms, make them extremely deadly in combat. The face of a Goobbu is plain, with two unicolored eyes possessing no iris, and a shark-like mouth filled with hundreds of teeth. Their eyes lacking an iris is a symbol of their lack of intelligence, while their shark-like teeth show that they are actually creatures designed to consume large quantities of food to support their massive bodies. And finally, they possess a large quantity of moss atop their head, where small plants, branches, and tree saplings seem to be growing. When provoked, Goobbues unleash a flurry of deadly physical attacks coupled with some annoying status ailments. Some Goobbues have even adapted to the monk style of fighting, possessing double and triple attacks and even the powerful 100 Fist ability. Their sneezes let out deadly spores that can poison, they have a glare attack that can paralyze if you're looking at them, and even a scream that can silence. With this deadly combination of attacks, you should never underestimate an encounter with a Goobbu. The origin of a Goobbu is a mystery for the most part in Final Fantasy games. Based on their complexion as well as the items they drop, which includes tree cuttings and moss, they appear to be giant masses of moss that were given life, ripped right off the side of a tree, possibly even the moss of tree ants, which are already living trees. They begin as sproutlings and eventually grow into these hulking beasts, which leads some to believe that the saplings on their head eventually turn into sprouts that would act as their children. These details, combined with their need for areas that receive high precipitation or have reliable water sources, make the Goobbu an odd creature to examine. Despite their massive popularity, Goobbues only appear in two major Final Fantasy titles, both of them MMOs. The Goobbues in Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV are almost identical to each other, minus the level of aggression shown in the Final Fantasy ones being a bit higher than the one in Final Fantasy XI. They also serve more purposes in Final Fantasy XIV, with tamed versions becoming mounts for players to ride, a pet sproutling that can follow players around, as well as some of them being pets of the Beastman race, the Sylph. There are even some that serve as bosses in popular dungeons of the game. They do appear in Final Fantasy Theatrhythm as well, as enemies that you can encounter during some songs, though this is likely because of the involvement of both Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV in Theatrhythm. Hopefully these hulking beasts will continue to appear in the Final Fantasy series in more ways than they already have. They are always a pleasure to kill. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy videos. Be sure to check out my guides for Final Fantasy XIV as well as some of my playthroughs of other Final Fantasy titles. Also, be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter if you have any questions or even recommendations for a bestiary that you'd like to see. If I get enough requests, I always consider them for an episode. And of course, you can follow me on Twitch where I do live stream Final Fantasy XIV for the most part right now, and then I'm going to be streaming some other games throughout the year, just games that I generally enjoy and want to share with you guys. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.